Hey, everybody. An interesting point that Albert Howard made in his works was that colonialism, at least partially, occurred because of the infertility of European soils to support their population. European farming was mostly done from a slash and burn agricultural standpoint, where forests were cut down, slashed, and burnt, and then the fertile ground underneath had been created from this forest constantly feeding organic material into the ground was used for production crops until the land was no longer sufficient for that, and then they would move on and cut down another chunk. And this is a great way to support a population, but it quickly used up the forests of Europe. And what happened was that there was too many people for too poor soil. And that a big part of colonialism was to set up plantations all over the world and mine native soils for their fertility to support European crops. This is an interesting way of looking at it because eventually these soils also become infertile or less fertile because you've mined out a lot of the organic matter, which happens when you're doing this production that doesn't have any sort of recontribution to the organic matter in the soil. So you just basically use it up. And what happens is that over a period of time, you find that the reaction to the soil is to compact, and that locks out nitrogen. The nitrogen from the atmosphere no longer goes in, the legumes no longer replenish it, and you start seeing nitrogen deficiencies everywhere. And so there's this great search for mostly bird dung to get its nitrogen value until the nitrogen pellet came about in the 50s, or a little bit before that, where they finally chemically put nitrogen into a pellet fertilizer. First, they used it for bombs, but then they used it for fertilizers. But the the gist of this is that we have worked a system from time immemorial that's not functioning correctly. We need to have a system that contributes to the organic matter in the soil and not just depletes it to add chemicals. Chemical fertilizers have locked out the biology in the soil, and if you go to any cultivated areas where it's been plowed and fertilized and pesticides have been used, and even when they haven't, it's been an organic farm, you'll try to find the living element in the soil and you sift through it and you'll just find particulate matter. There's almost nothing in it. And I've looked around at a lot of these soils, and it's very interesting to see no earthworms, no beetles, nothing crawling, and beyond that, nothing too much living outside of, even at the microscopic level. Anyway, I want to give this quick video talking about that because it's a real interesting concept that a lot of our history has been shaped by the lack of fertility in our soils and the need for more fertility and how this has shaped our histories. Anyway, thanks.